My name is David, and I'm 33 years old. I'm here to share the story of how my marriage came to an end. I was married to Isabella, who was 6 years younger than me. I loved her deeply and allowed her the freedom to live life on her own terms until she crossed a line that I couldn't accept. Despite my reluctance, I had to ensure she understood the gravity of her actions and prevent her from repeating them. What she did was unforgivable and warranted consequences. Though it pained me, I wouldn't condone cheating in any relationship. I met Isabella 10 months ago at a friend's party and was immediately captivated by her beauty. Eager to learn more about her, I asked our mutual friend to introduce us, and we hit it off. Isabella was easy to talk to, and our conversation flowed effortlessly. She shared her love for parties and living life boldly. Her determination and clarity about her goals impressed me even more. I decided then that I wanted to spend more time getting to know her. As we continued to see each other, I found myself unable to shake thoughts of her. She stirred emotions in me like no one else ever had. Despite warnings from friends about her wild reputation and a stream of past relationships, I brushed them aside. I trusted my gut, convinced that she felt the same way about me. Just 7 months into knowing Isabella, I felt deep in my heart that she was the one I wanted to spend my life with. I whisked her away to a secluded island for a holiday, where I had meticulously planned every detail to impress her. One evening, as we sipped drinks and watched the sunset, I seized what felt like the perfect moment and asked her to marry me. Her immediate and tearful acceptance filled me with joy. She hugged me tightly, declaring it the best day of her life. Our wedding was nothing short of grandeur, becoming the talk of the town for weeks on end. Media outlets and social platforms buzzed with coverage of our fairy tale romance, captivating audiences far and wide. Our love story seemed to touch the hearts of many, drawing strangers to offer congratulations and well wishes wherever we went. On our wedding day, Isabella and I made a conscious decision to maintain separate rooms for our belongings while we shared nights together. We also valued our individual space, recognizing that our courtship had been brief. We agreed to continue living as we had before tying the knot until we found a rhythm that worked for both of us. We understood the significance of preserving our identities and interests within the bounds of marriage, allowing each other the freedom to pursue personal hobbies. This approach, we believed, would not only fortify our connection, but also foster personal growth alongside our journey as a couple. We respected each other's schedules and refrained from micromanaging or constantly monitoring one another. With my focus largely on my business, introducing additional obligations to my routine would have been burdensome. I trusted Isabella to prioritize her own well-being and communicate any needs or concerns as they arose. Our relationship thrived on trust and independence, allowing us to support each other's personal growth while maintaining a healthy balance between our individual lives and our life together. This dynamic fostered a sense of freedom and autonomy, deepening our mutual respect and admiration. We recognized that prioritizing our own well-being was crucial for the strength and happiness of our marriage. When Isabella expressed a desire to celebrate her marriage with her friends, I organized a 7-day cruise for her and 5 of her closest friends. I opted not to join them, understanding that my presence might disrupt their experience. I was always ready to fulfill any reasonable wish of my wife's, as her happiness was my utmost concern. I believed that giving her space to enjoy this special time with her friends would make the experience even more memorable for her. I trusted that she would have a wonderful time and create lasting memories with her closest companions. Isabella continued to live her life much as she had before her marriage, attending parties and occasionally coming home late and retiring to bed. One evening, sat her down and asked if something was troubling her, prompting this behavior. She confided that adjusting to this new life was overwhelming, as she hadn't grown up with the privileges I had. I listened empathetically, realizing that she needed time to acclimate to the lifestyle of a wealthy man's wife. It's been nearly 4 months since our wedding, and Isabella still kept her separate room. While she showered me with affection and our nights together were passionate, there remained a palpable sense of something missing in our relationship. Despite our physical closeness, an emotional gap lingered between us. I couldn't shake the feeling that there were deeper issues at play, causing Isabella to maintain her distance. I wanted her to feel completely at ease and to trust me fully, knowing that this was her home and she belonged here. Contemplating whether to broach the subject with Isabella, I grappled with my own unhappiness and concerns about our relationship. I hoped she would be receptive to an open conversation and understand my perspective. Deciding to give it another week, I resolved to sit down with her for a heartfelt discussion about our feelings and whether we were truly aligned. I determined that this approach would minimize any potential harm. Arriving home early one day to retrieve papers for an upcoming meeting, I noticed Isabella's absence. Presumably, she was out with her friends. Intent on grabbing my papers and leaving, a curiosity sparked within me to explore Isabella's room for insights that might shed light on her behavior. Rummaging through her belongings, I searched for a diary or journal, hoping to gain a deeper understanding of her thoughts. Amidst my exploration, a lipstick tumbled to the floor, revealing a paper tucked beneath the dresser. Sensing its importance, I retrieved it. An invitation to a private party in Isabella's honor, organized by a group of men, caught my eye. As I scrutinized the details, a line at the bottom seized my attention. To the most beautiful woman ever who deserves the love of every man in the world. The venue, a private villa owned by one of my business competitors, added a layer of intrigue. Determined to unravel the mystery, I decided to attend the party and witness the situation firsthand. En route, I phoned Isabella to inquire about her whereabouts. She casually mentioned a sleepover at a friend's house, assuring me of her return the following evening. With no reason to doubt her, I reflected on the freedom I had granted her, wondering what truths awaited me at the party. Trusting Isabella's integrity, I sought only assurance that she wasn't at the party, yet a nagging sense of suspicion drove me to investigate further. Upon arrival, I parked outside and found the gate unmanned, granting me easy access. Inside, the air pulsed with boisterous music, filling the surroundings with its infectious energy. A line of cars traced the path toward the villa, among them Isabella's unmistakable vehicle. Her presence at the party contradicted her claim of a sleepover. Approaching the villa's entrance, I hesitated to announce my arrival, opting instead to discreetly survey the scene. Along the wall, I sought out a window offering a vantage point. Spotting open blinds, I cautiously peered inside, careful not to draw attention. Within, a group of men congregated, their laughter mingling with the music's crescendo. Though their words were lost in the din, their jovial demeanor only deepened my intrigue. So absorbed in my quest for answers, I failed to notice the glaringly obvious. Most of the men were scantily clad, some shirtless, others in nothing but their underwear. Their collective attention was fixed on something obscured from my view, positioned too low for me to discern. Perplexed by Isabella's presence in such a scene, I contemplated abandoning my investigation and ringing the doorbell. Yet before I could act, movement caught my eye. A figure rising from the midst of the group, it was Isabella, standing amidst the men, her hands covering her breasts, clad only in her panties. I was stunned into silence, grappling with the realization that this might be the most disturbing sight of the day. As one of the men approached to kiss her, she laughed, inciting cheers from the others. Rage and indignation surged within me, determined to intervene, resolved to storm in and rescue Isabella. However, a sudden idea struck me. Returning to the window, I meticulously noted down the identities of everyone present at the party. 5 men and unmistakably Isabella. Fury and frustration engulfed me as I grappled with the realization of Isabella's betrayal and the potential consequences of confronting her and the 5 men, all of whom were my business rivals. I couldn't risk becoming a laughingstock in their eyes because of her actions. Resolving to leave them to their revelry, I knew I had to devise a plan to not only embarrass them, but also teach Isabella a lesson. Exiting the villa, I marched towards my car, my mind a whirlwind of emotions too overwhelming to process. I had given Isabella everything she desired and then some, including fulfilling intimacy in our relationship. Yet her actions at the party left me bewildered. What could she possibly be seeking that drove her to such extremes? Pondering her motives proved futile. In the heat of the moment, my focus shifted to retribution against Isabella and the men who had taken advantage of her presence. Anger and betrayal consumed me, igniting a thirst for revenge. I needed a plan to hold them accountable for their actions and restore a sense of justice. As the fury within me simmered, I vowed to ensure they faced the consequences of crossing me. True to her word, Isabella returned home the following evening. I awaited her arrival, observing her demeanor closely in the wake of her betrayal. Despite her infidelity with 5 men, she appeared remarkably composed, attempting to maintain a facade of normalcy. I greeted her warmly, masking my inner turmoil with a smile. As she described her night with friends, I listened attentively, my thoughts swirling with plans for retribution. In the days that followed, I meticulously crafted a strategy to expose Isabella's deceit and the men who had conspired with her. I collected evidence, including photos and videos from the party, ensuring I had concrete proof to confront her and the others. My heart ached as I relived the betrayal, but I knew this was necessary to regain control of my life and hold them accountable. One evening, after an intimate dinner, I decided it was time to confront Isabella. We sat in our living room, the ambience serene yet tense. Isabella began, my voice steady. "There's something we need to discuss." She looked at me, curiosity mingled with apprehension. "What is it, David?" Taking a deep breath, I laid out the evidence on the coffee table. "I know what happened at the villa," I said, watching her eyes widen in shock. "I saw you with those men." Her face drained of color as she glanced at the photos and videos, her hands trembling. "David, I can explain," she stammered, tears welling up in her eyes. "Explain?" I echoed, my voice rising. "You betrayed me, Isabella. You lied to my face and humiliated me. What more is there to say?" She broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. "I'm so sorry, David. I didn't mean for this to happen. It was a mistake. A terrible mistake." "Was it really a mistake?" I demanded, my anger boiling over. "Or was it something you planned all along? Were you seeking something you couldn't find with me?" Isabella shook her head vehemently. "No, David, it wasn't like that. I was overwhelmed, lost in the moment. I thought I could handle it, but I was wrong. Please, forgive me." Her words hung in the air, mingling with the sound of her sobs. I stood up, pacing the room as I struggled to contain my emotions. "Forgiveness," I muttered. "It's not that simple, Isabella. You've shattered my trust, and I don't know if I can ever repair it." For days, the atmosphere in our home was thick with tension. Isabella made countless attempts to reconcile, apologizing profusely and promising to change. She even sought counseling, hoping to mend the rift she had caused. But my heart remained heavy with betrayal, and I couldn't shake the images of her with those men. Determined to regain a sense of control, I decided to confront the men who had participated in the party. I arranged a private meeting with each of them, using my business connections to ensure their compliance. The confrontations were intense, filled with anger and accusations. Some of the men were remorseful, others defiant, but all were forced to face the consequences of their actions. I made it clear that their behavior would not go unpunished, and that their involvement with Isabella would be exposed if they didn't comply with my demands. In the midst of this turmoil, I sought solace in my work. My business became my refuge, a place where I could channel my energy and focus on something other than the betrayal. My colleagues noticed the change in me, their concern evident. They offered support, urging me to take time off and prioritize my well-being. But I refused, determined to prove that I could overcome this personal crisis without faltering in my professional life. As the weeks turned into months, I found myself slowly coming to terms with the situation. Isabella's efforts to make amends began to bear fruit, and our relationship, though strained, started to show signs of improvement. We attended counseling sessions together, delving into the underlying issues that had led to the betrayal. Through these sessions, I gained a deeper understanding of Isabella's struggles and insecurities, and she learned about the depth of my pain and the importance of trust in our marriage. Despite the progress, the road to recovery was long and arduous. There were moments of doubt and frustration, times when the wounds seemed too deep to heal. But amidst the darkness, there were also glimmers of hope, instances of genuine connection and understanding. We slowly rebuilt our relationship, piece by piece, learning to trust each other again. One evening, as we sat on our patio, watching the sunset, Isabella turned to me, her eyes filled with sincerity. "David, I know I hurt you deeply, and I can't change the past, but I promise, with all my heart, that I will spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I love you more than anything, and I want us to have a future together." Her words resonated with me, stirring something deep within. For the first time in months, I felt a glimmer of hope. "Isabella," I said, taking her hand, "I love you too. And while the road ahead won't be easy, willing to try. Let's take it one day at a time and see where it leads us." Our journey to rebuild our marriage was filled with ups and downs, moments of joy and sorrow. We faced our demons together, learning to communicate openly and honestly. The process was painful, but it also brought us closer, forging a bond that was stronger and more resilient than before. In time, I came to realize that forgiveness was not just about absolving Isabella of her actions, but also about freeing myself from the weight of anger and resentment. Holding on to the past only prolonged my suffering, preventing me from moving forward. By choosing to forgive, I allowed myself to heal and embrace the possibility of a brighter future. Isabella, too, underwent a profound transformation. She dedicated herself to becoming a better person, working tirelessly to regain my trust and prove her love. She gave up her party lifestyle, focusing instead on activities that brought us closer together. We discovered new shared interests, from hiking and traveling to cooking and gardening, and these experiences helped strengthen our bond. Our journey wasn't without its challenges. There were moments when old wounds resurfaced, triggering painful memories and doubts. But each time, we faced these obstacles head-on, leaning on the lessons we had learned in counseling and the commitment we had made to each other. As the years passed, our relationship evolved into something beautiful and enduring. We learned to appreciate each other in new ways, finding joy in the simple moments and drawing strength from our shared experiences. Our love, tested by betrayal and forged in the crucible of forgiveness, emerged stronger than ever. Looking back, I realized that the pain and betrayal, though devastating, had ultimately brought us closer together. It had forced us to confront our vulnerabilities and weaknesses, and in doing so, we had discovered the true depth of our love. Through the darkness, we had found the light, and our bond was now unbreakable. In the end, our story was one of redemption and resilience, a testament to the power of love and the possibility of forgiveness. We had faced the worst and emerged stronger, our hearts intertwined in a way that could never be undone. And as we looked toward the future, we knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, united in our love and commitment. Isabella and I celebrated our 10th anniversary with a renewed sense of purpose and gratitude. We had weathered the storm and emerged victorious, our love stronger than ever. We had learned that true forgiveness was not just about letting go of the past, but about embracing the future with open hearts and minds. Our journey had been long and arduous, but it had also been filled with moments of profound beauty and joy. We had discovered the true meaning of love, not as a fleeting emotion, but as a steadfast commitment to each other's happiness and well-being. As we stood together, hand in hand, watching the sunset on our anniversary, I knew that our love story was far from over. We had many more adventures to share, more challenges to face, and more memories to create. And through it all, we would remain united, our love an enduring beacon of hope and strength. In the end, our story was not just about betrayal and forgiveness, but about the transformative power of love. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, love has the ability to heal, to redeem, and to bring us closer together. And as we look toward the future, we did so with hearts full of hope, knowing that our love would continue to guide us, no matter where the journey led.